Okay, thank you everybody for coming to see the Community Services of Stark County and Obtain process. Community Services of Stark County is a nonprofit agency here in Canton, Ohio, Stark County, and they have several hats within the community. They work with adoption, mental health services, employment services, wraparound services, case management, counseling, and housing. And there are a few other, but they're just broadened out. They come and go. Community Services in Stark County is lacking updated technology, and this is where the Obtain process comes in. Because of Community Services' lack of updated technology, they run into a lot of interference with productivity, with communicating with other agencies within the community, and meeting customer care. This brings us to the Obtain process. Through the Obtain process, we will problem solve. We will outline the problem, break down the issue, test the hypothesis, analyze the solution, imagine the solution, and notify stakeholders to start out our action plan. First, we want to outline the problem. Well, the problem at this point is that Community Services of Stark County needs to update their technology in order to utilize proper billing to gain revenue for the company. Some of the other problems that the Community Services is running into are losing the needed revenue, decreasing employee productivity, and it's impacting customer care and communication with other agencies. Now we're going to break down the issue. Through this process, we're going to identify possible solutions that we could use in order to break down the issue and possibly find funds for community services to gain the revenue that they need in order to increase productivity. So through this, we've discovered increase the funds to update technology, increase the revenue, or cut spending. Through the breakdown process with the funds, we could do donations. Community Services of Stark County could do fundraisers. They could apply for grants, and they could also do local promotions. They could also increase revenue by increasing employee productivity. This would mean that they would go up 5 hours of productivity per employee in order to gain the needed revenue to use that towards increasing and updating their technology. Also, cut spending. This would mean reducing office supplies, cutting out unneeded paper, pencils, supplies, anything to use those funds to increase the technology. Now we're at the test the hypothesis phase. Through this, testing the hypothesis is making sure that there is supporting evidence to back up the possible solutions through the breakdown issue. This hypothesis will develop by reasoning on how or why the possible solutions could be in place and what outside facts could support those possible solutions. When dealing with outside facts, we're dealing with opportunities and threats. Opportunities and threats are external things that could possibly interfere with whatever solutions we would come up with in order to help community services gain its revenue. Now we're at the analyze the solution. Through analyzing the solution, it was discovered that increasing productivity can bring in great revenue for the company, and that many businesses often do increase their productivity rates, whether they do it by supplies or their employees bringing in productivity. They do this in order to gain the needed revenue to benefit the company, and community services could do this in order to help them update their technology. Now we're in the imagine the solution. I used the hypothesis tree to help identify several solution possibilities. Out of the all the several possibilities, 2 of them seemed to be the most realistic. 2 of them that stuck out the most were increasing company productivity. The other one was possibly just applying for a grant to find the funds in order to bring in the needed technology. It was identified that increasing productivity would increase revenue. However, it could also put a negative name on community services in Stark County. Although this research was valuable, it was not proven that it would be beneficial. It may cause the company to lose marketable employees if the company were to increase productivity. This would put employees under great stress. Just increasing productivity by 5 hours per person could possibly cause people to leave the company. No other agencies within Stark County are doing that, and it could also put a damper on community services to Stark County's name. This brings us to applying for the grant funding, and that seems to be the most realistic solution. Although increasing productivity had research that backed up that it would be beneficial for the company, pushing people to do more work could damper it. So we picked that we would be applying for grant funding. And why did we pick this? Community service is in a good place financially. It's been rocky, but they are finally in a nice clean slate where they can say, hey, we're in a good place right now, and we can apply for grants. They also have a good funding reputation. Community Services of Stark County has applied for grants for many years. It's a nonprofit agency, and they've distributed those grants correctly. And a lot of agencies don't do that. And so we have a good reputation with grant funders. Also, they have a good reputation in the community for providing services. All the multiple hats at the beginning of the slide show that they do a lot of services within the community, and they do them well. Also, why not? There are grants that are available to rebuild technology for nonprofit businesses, so why would we not apply for a grant? Now we're in the notify stakeholders and action plan. Community Services of Stark County needs updated technology in order to create proper billing to increase revenue. By applying for technology grant, Community Services of Stark County can gain the needed funds in order to provide proper services to clients. The agency would then be able to update their technology, and they would be able to provide faster billing to insurance companies. They would also be up to date with other agencies in Stark County, and they would also be able to help out their clients more. Sometimes our clients work with other agencies within the area, and we need to be able to communicate with them on a daily basis. So the solution is to write a grant requesting funds to update needed technology. Action. Well, through this phase, we will present the solution to write a grant to the action plan and key decision makers within the organization. This would be like the CEO and the CFO and maybe some of the directors and managers. Once writing the grant is approved, the CEO and CFO discuss the requirements that are going to be needed to write the grant and what's going to be needed to be on the grant. Things have to be specific when you're applying for a grant. The next phase is writing of the grant. That's going to be a step. The next phase is the submission of the grant, and the last phase is the analysis of the effectiveness, whether we are going to get the grant or not. Once we have completed all these steps, the goal is to have received the grant and updated technology by 2015. The benefits of using this obtain process to problem solve. Well, the reason that we use the obtain process is because, one, we want to identify the root cause. Well, the root cause is that we don't have enough funds to build revenue to update the technology. Then the next phase is identifying the possible solutions. We could pick crazy solutions, but through the hypothesis phase, which is the research possible solutions phase, we find out that some of those crazy possible solutions damper out, and we can find ones that make more sense. Then we move to analyzing the solutions. Once we analyze the solutions, we find out how realistic those solutions can be. And then last but not least, developing the action plan or get it in play. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead. Ask away.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What kind of technology are you looking for?
Well, one of the things that we want to do is update the faxing. And sometimes faxes through the agency only go to one computer, and they don't even have enough, I guess I would say, like megabytes, what have you. I'm not a technology person, to receive all the fax coming in at the same time. So they delay a lot of things. We have to use faxing in order to send off medical records or gain medical records information coming to us. And if we don't have enough technology within the organization, it's going to be backed up. Sometimes we're waiting on faxes to come through for a couple of days at a time. Also, just communicating with other organizations. We have to have that information, especially moving into medical records. They need to know what type of medications they're on, and we need to know what kind of medications they're on from other agencies or other health facilities, not just mental health, but just public health in general. So, any other questions? All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Good job.